Hey there, Grateful Gang. It's Lauren Blanchard-Zaleski here. Welcome to Gratefully Living the Chronic Life, where we talk weekly about various topics pertaining to living our best lives despite our struggles, in particular, people with chronic pain and illness. I run a group on Facebook called Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, and we are just about to hit 6,000 members. And the way we approach living our best lives with chronic pain and illness is by way of trying to incorporate a grateful life, gratitude into our lives, which is not always easy when you're living with chronic pain or any kind of struggle. So weekly, I come to you with various guests and topics. Tonight, we are having open discussion and viewers' choice, whatever you want to talk about. I do not have a guest tonight. For those of you who are in the group or who watch me on a weekly basis, you may know that I am currently writing my own book. So I've taken sort of a sabbatical from the group, or I had been. I'm back in the group now, but I took 2 weeks off. I thought 2 weeks. I've been working on the book for 5 years and kind of doing it piecemeal, like a paragraph here, a paragraph there, while trying to run the group. Ooh, what did I just do? I don't know if you saw that or not, while trying to run the group, and it just wasn't working out for me at all. So I'm getting, piecemeal writing a book for 5 years just doesn't work. So I naively said, I went to my moderators, Arlene and Linda, and I asked, would you guys mind holding down the fort while I go out on a sabbatical for 2 weeks? And I was just going to sit and write and finish it in 2 weeks, which is kind of hilarious now. It is not done, although a first draft is done. And my husband, Rob, went to his office and he printed out this. This is it. It's called Chronically Grateful. It has so much more to do on it. But you know what? Holding it in my hands and being tangible makes it feel just so real. So I wrote all this. It's like 200 pages of my stuff, which still has a lot of editing to do, but it's real, it's here. So one of these days it will get out, hopefully sooner than later. But anyway, open discussion tonight. I want to talk about anything you guys would like to talk about, any topic. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, so that could be a topic. Personal victories, any troubles you might be having. If you have never been to this broadcast before, we encourage an interactive environment. So please feel free to leave comments. I try to put everything on the screen. We have a comment here. Oh, Linda's here. Hi, Linda. Thank you for tuning in. So last week I was not here because I was working on the book, but the previous week I had Joy Selleck on the show. She wrote this wonderful book called You Don't Look Sick, Living Well with Invisible Chronic Illness. Thank you, Joy, if you are watching. You are a wonderful guest. We've actually formed a nice friendship, Joy and I, and she's helping me work out some things, some possibilities for the group. And just talking back and forth with her has been a real treat. If you weren't here and didn't get to watch the episode, I encourage you to do that. The last episode, she was absolutely wonderful. We got great feedback from her. And if you did watch the episode, you will know that she actually co-wrote this book with her rheumatologist, Dr. Stephen Overman, and she asked me if I would like to sync up with him, which I did, and she kind of gave us a connection, and we had a meeting last week, Dr. Overman and I, and we could have talked forever. He is a wonderful doctor. He's going to be on the show with us in July. He's vacationing in June, but sometime in July, he's going to be on the show with us. And he has a lot of great things to say. If you're watching and you watched the episode with Dr. Howard Schubiner and saw the film This Might Hurt, Dr. Overman has a lot of stuff kind of on the same vein as that. So you definitely want to pay attention to when that episode is airing. Who else we got here tonight? Heidi's here. Hey, Heidi. Thanks for tuning in. Arlene's here. Hello, Arlene. Tammy Blizzard. Hi, Tammy. Maintaining relationships like marriage or so when you're chronically ill. That's a great topic. Maintaining relationships. It's funny you say that, Tammy, because that was when I put a poll in the group today offering a choice, I think, of 4 or 5 topics. in Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain on Facebook. And I was actually going to use that as one of the topics, Tammy. I was wording it a little bit differently, but it was about not only maintaining relationships, but a lot of the relationships that we may lose when you live with chronic pain or illness. And I know for many of us, including myself, we do often lose friendships, family members, for various reasons. So I'd be more than willing to talk to you all about that. I do write about that in that book of mine sitting over there on paper, which is pretty exciting. Next week, I've got a great guest that I want to share with you. Her name is Dawn Hale. She's a friend of mine. Let me get rid of this. She's a certified positive psychology life coach, and she's going to be with us. And she's got 5 action steps towards a happier life. And we met last week, and she has such great ideas that is so in keeping with the message that we talk about in the group, on my website, which is gratitudeaddict.com. And, the message that I try to relay to everybody each week here in Gratefully Living the Chronic Life. So Dawn is going to be with us. I highly encourage you to tune in next Thursday at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a great episode. Eva's here. Hey, Eva. Thanks for tuning in. So for those of you who may not be in the group, you can find us on Facebook at Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. And my website is gratitudeaddict.com. So I mentioned that it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And Tammy, I want to get to your topic, and I would love to hear from all of you ideas on how to maintain relationships while living with a chronic condition, because it's tricky. It can be very tricky to maintain relationships, like I said, for a lot of reasons. Our energy levels get depleted. We can't always do the things that we used to do, which a lot of times friends don't understand. So I want to hear your thoughts, everybody's thoughts on all of that. Please feel free. And if you have another topic you want to talk about, just throw it out there. It's an open discussion. It's your episode tonight. But anyway, I wanted to show you this video. I mentioned it's Mental Health Awareness Month. And a friend of mine, Jill Cook, who's in the group, she sent me this awesome video. I guess Oprah Winfrey is having a show tomorrow night talking about mental health awareness. I wanted to share with you guys the video, if I can. Hang on one sec. There's a video promoting it that's absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Take this out. This should do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Watch this.
All over the world, people are in some kind of mental, psychological, emotional pain.
Okay, so Rob, my husband, just told me that we couldn't hear it. I'm assuming that you're all saying it went silent in the middle of the sound went out. Well, that's weird. It's so good. How? So it was working at one point and now it's not, huh? I don't know why that is. I am going to post the link to the video so you guys can watch it on your own time. I apologize. Normally I would say it's my technological problems, but if it went out in the middle of the video, then I do not know. This is the link I just posted. If you guys would like to finish watching it, I highly recommend it. The episode airs tomorrow, I believe. I'm not really, I assume on Oprah's network, whatever that is. Shoot, I wanted to show another video at some point, but I'm not sure why it's not working. My bad. Well, sort of my bad. Usually it is my fault, but I don't know what happened there. So sorry about that. Even without sound, it looks interesting. Thank you, Heather Gray. Thanks for tuning in. It is interesting. Gosh, I would love to play it again. You're welcome, Eva. It's really important. I know you and I have had many discussions on that. Eva was on our show early on in the broadcast. This is episode 47. And Eva was on several last year at some point talking about mental health. Shoot, I wonder why I can't share it. I mean, I wonder what happened to the sound. I do not know. Anyway, go to the link, please, and watch it. I highly encourage you to watch it. Hey there, Karen. Thanks for joining us. So if you're just joining us, tonight is viewer's choice as far as what we are discussing. Any topic you would like. Tammy Blizzard has mentioned the topic of maintaining relationships while living with a chronic illness. And it's a fantastic topic. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say about that. We have Facebook user. If you come up with Facebook user on my display, that means you're joining from inside the group. And since it's a closed group, unless you give StreamYard permission to share your name and photo, you come up on my screen, at least, as Facebook user, which is why that is. So if you want to log back out and log back in and give StreamYard permission, or you can just let us know who you are the next time you comment. That would be great. Arlene's got a comment here. There was a time when I wasn't on the path of acceptance of my condition. At this time, my relationship was in trouble. The biggest thing I needed to learn was to communicate with my partner. I also had to come to a point of acceptance and grieve the life we thought we would live. And with my acceptance and better communication, we were able to move forward together again. Beautiful, beautiful comment and insight, Arlene, as usual. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've got quite a history myself with relationships in regards to my chronic illness. Many of you who've watched before and are in the group know at least part of my story, but I've been sick with lupus and fibromyalgia for 20 years. I've definitely had my ups and downs with it, as most of us do. And gosh, it was about 12 years ago, I entered into this flare. Flares are bad periods that many of us go through with our chronic illnesses. And I started this flare that normally my flares would last a few months and then they would go away. This one just wasn't going away. It was lasting for months and then years. It lasted about 4 years. The last of the 4 years, I became an alcoholic. I developed a pretty serious alcohol problem. So I had a rock bottom that was pretty bad. I had a DUI, woke up in a hospital bed, not knowing how I got there. I had driven in a complete blackout, which, I thank God every day that I did not hurt anybody. And I'm still here to talk about it, obviously. But that moment, which was June 20th of 2013, is the basis of all of my gratitude. And that is kind of how I got interested in gratitude. I certainly not that day was, I often say it was the best and the worst day of my life. It's the worst because it was just horrific. And I was full of such misery and despair and I want to say humiliation. It was just all of those things wrapped into this ugly package of despair. And I didn't know how I got to that point. And I was fortunate enough to attend an inpatient 30-day program at Silver Hill Hospital in Connecticut. They had a chronic pain and recovery program, which unfortunately they no longer have. But I was able to learn techniques and ways to deal in healthy ways with my chronic pain. Hence the group, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. And I often say I'm a student of the human experience, and I like to share my knowledge and experience with anybody who's willing to listen. And obviously you guys are willing to listen. In my book, I'm talking about all of this too, and the different tips that I've learned over the years. I am gratefully almost sober, almost 8 years since that moment, which makes me want to cry. So grateful every day for my sobriety. But I bring this up as far as communication. So with my husband, Rob, I wasn't communicating at all. I wasn't communicating at the end with anybody, actually. I would have friends and family trying so hard to reach me, so hard to reach out to me. And I just froze. I just had no interest in talking to anybody. The alcohol had a lot to do with that. But even prior to my alcohol problem, I think I tried so hard to cure myself. And with each thing I would try to control, I would get more out of control in regards to dealing with my illness. And I think each time it was just chipping away at my sense of self, I guess I would say, until I just became just a shell of a person who didn't shower, who didn't socialize, who really didn't do anything. And Rob would try to get through to me a lot, and I just wasn't open with him. I wasn't open with myself. I mean, let's face it, that is the absolute truth. I was not honest with myself. So in this inpatient program, I learned better how to communicate, and now we have fantastic communication. My children, who are now grown, same thing. I did not communicate with them. I was not a very good mom to them for several years. But now they're proud of me, which I am also incredibly grateful for. And I've got a core group of friends who stuck by me through and through. You guys know who you are if you're watching, who they stuck with me even though I wasn't a very good friend for a long time. So I'm grateful for that. And then I've developed lots of new friends through my travels, especially AOG, the group, all sorts of great new friends like you guys who are all here. So let's see what other comments we got. If you're just tuning in, it's an open discussion tonight. Right now, we're talking about the topic of maintaining relationships and communication with living with a chronic condition. Thank you, Sarah. My hair looks gorgeous. I'm thinking my hair does not look gorgeous. And thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. My daughter, Riley, who's 25, she got this awesome hair gizmo. This has nothing to do with anything except for my hair. She got an awesome hair gizmo from my sister. It's called the Dyson Air Wrap. And it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's sort of it's a hair dryer that like sucks your hair and it wraps around, sort of a curling iron type thing. So it sort of curls your hair and dries your hair at the same time. Sounds weird, but you can pull up a video of it on YouTube and you'll see what it is. Anyway, my hair was looking really good for a while because I was borrowing her air wrap, but she moved out a couple of weeks ago. Riley moved. She got an apartment in New York City. She's an actress and a singer. And now that Broadway is opening back up, she knew it was time to go at her career again. So she's gone, as is the Dyson Air Wrap, which is so depressing. So now I'm having to do my hair the old fashioned way, and I just don't like it as much. But thank you, Sarah, for the nice compliment on my hair. I appreciate it because I'm looking at my hair saying it doesn't look very good, but I did shower, which is a good thing. And I did dry it. Heather, look at you now. Thank you for paying forward everything that you've learned. Oh, Heather, that makes me want to cry. You're very welcome. That really does make me want to cry. I get very weepy around the time of my sobriety, which God willing is a month from today, my sobriety date. And I get very, I guess grateful is the right word. I think back at the last 8 years, and it has been a journey like no other. of learning, of self-exploration, of becoming myself again. And that is what I try to, the message that I try to get out is ways that we can thrive living with chronic illness, because our chronic pain and illness does not have to dictate a bad life at all. In fact, I've got a better life today than I've ever had. And a lot of that, I would even say most of that, is due to the things that I've learned over the past 8 years about myself, about living. Each week, all these amazing guests that we've had on the show, I get such amazing takeaways from each one. I'm grateful for all of them that have come on. We've had some amazing guests. I mentioned Joy Selleck a couple weeks ago. We had Dan Millman, who author of Way of the Peaceful Warrior, on a few weeks ago. My friend Nicole Spadafora talked to us about dirt therapy several weeks ago. Who else have we had on? We've had Vidyamala Birch, who's a mindfulness with chronic pain expert. We've had something for everybody and something that pertains to each topic. I would rather not have a guest than have a guest on that does not pertain to our topic. Speaking of which, I always joke when we have guests on that I find them by way of, I find something that I like and then I stalk them. So I just stalked somebody new today because I found this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book. It is called How to Love the World, Poems of Gratitude and Hope. Gratitude and hope are the top two messages that Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain goes for. You know, without hope, we have nothing. And I had lost hope for a long time. I was very hopeless. And I don't want anybody to think that their life is hopeless because you have been diagnosed or injured, or you're living with emotional pain and depression, anxiety. All of these chronic conditions does not have to dictate our lives into being a horrible life. It just doesn't. So this is a collection of poems edited by James Cruz, who is who I stalked today. I would love, love, love to get him on the show. I guess I'm sort of putting him on the spot right now if he's watching. I'm sorry, James. You certainly don't have to, but we would be honored to have you on the show. I want to read you guys all of the poems in this book, but I found this one today in particular that I would love to read you. It is by a poet named, I'm probably going to not get her name right, but Danusha Lamaris. And it's called Improvement. And I would love for you guys to just listen carefully to the words because it's just beautiful. Improvement. The optometrist says my eyes are getting better each year. Soon he'll have to lower my prescription. What's next? The light step I had at 6, all the gray hairs back to brown, skin taut as a drum. My improved eyes and I walked around town and celebrated. We took in the letters of the marquee, the individual leaves filling out the branches of the sycamore, an early moon. So much goes downhill, joints wearing out with every mile, the delicate folds of the eardrum exhausted from years of listening. I'm grateful for small victories. The way the heart still beats time in the cathedral of the ribs. And the mind, watching its parade of thoughts enter and leave, begins to see them for what they are. Jugglers, fire swallowers, acrobats, tossing their batons into the air. Isn't that the most beautiful poem about things getting better? And I want to read you throughout the book, for every several poems, the editor, James Cruz, adds a reflective pause. And this is what he has to say about that poem. He calls it Grateful for Small Victories. In Improvement, the poem, Danusha Lamaris recounts the rare experience of a part of her body actually getting better with age and invites us to celebrate the good news with her. So much goes downhill, she says, reminding us of the body's fragility and vulnerability. Yet she also urges us to be grateful for small victories, for the fact that the heart carries on in the cathedral of the ribs, and that the endlessly busy mind keeps sending out its parade of thoughts. I love the way the speaker of this poem seems to detach from her own anxieties and intrusive thoughts, even playfully seeing them as jugglers, fire swallowers, acrobats, meant to entertain and not to be obeyed. And in her vision, what's next? I also hear the willingness to have hope that other things in her life and in the world might begin to improve as well. And then he also adds underneath each reflection, he adds journaling prompts, which if you are in the group, you know, we actually have a journaling club, a sister group, where we encourage gratitude journaling. It's so important. I've done at least one episode on the importance of journaling here in the group. And I'm currently working on a project that I think is going to come through. I can't talk about it yet, but hopefully by next week I'll be able to talk about a new project I'll be working on, which may have to put my book on the back burner, but I'll hopefully talk about that next week. Anyway, his writing reflection, invitation for writing and reflection. Write your own celebration of your small victories, things you managed to accomplish, no matter how slight they might seem. Whatever your list, try to capture that same sense of gratitude and joy for things that went well for you. So again, this book is called How to Love the World, Poems of Gratitude and Hope by James Cruz. I think it just came out and is just the most beautiful gift of a book. So I highly encourage you to get it. It just reading some of these poems, it just makes me feel grateful, gives me hope, and it really gave me a sense of mindfulness through reading them. So I hope to be sharing more of those with you. Let's see what other comments we've got. Sarah says, yes, Heather. Heather says, absolutely, you have so much to be proud of. Thank you, Heather. I think we all do. But thank you. Thank you. I am very grateful for that compliment. I appreciate it. You are an inspiration to me. You make me want to try harder. Wow. That's beautiful. And I'm honored. I truly am honored and humbled. As you know, as we all know, this is not an easy life. We have answers and we work really, really hard to try to live better lives. And we come up with these tips and we work together as a group. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm an expert at my own experience. And I know through the 6,000 people in our group and through we offer live chats twice a week called Flush the Format, talking, Tammy, about fostering relationships and communication. I know you've been to Flush the Format many times. We offer Flush the Format, like I said, twice a week as a way for us to have communication with each other. In the group itself, it's a gratitude group, so we do not talk specifically about our conditions, about how bad our pain is. We try to encourage and inspire. However, in Flush the Format at our live chats, it's a free-for-all, just like here tonight. You're allowed to talk about whatever you want. So if you need to vent about a bad doctor's appointment, about a relationship in your life that is not going well, about feelings of depression and anxiety, that's the place to do it. So you need to be a member of Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain to take part on that. And I'll put this up again. Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. Oh, you know what I made? Many of you know who've tuned in, I'm not technologically savvy at all, but I've been trying to make these little things that make me look professional. I made this to advertise the group. You ready? Let me take the banner down. Hang on. Put that down. All right. Let's see if I can do this. Didn't turn out as well as I thought, but here we go. Check it out. Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. I made another one. This one's kind of funky. Oh, it's got an arrow. Look at that. On Facebook. Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. What do you guys think? Good, huh? Anyway, you need to be a member of the group to take part and Flush the Format, but we offer them on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're technically an hour, but they usually go longer. They are run by senior moderator of our group and a good friend of mine, Linda Edwards, who I adore. So Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, it's flush the format. You can talk about whatever you want. It's a great way to establish communication with other people. As I mentioned, I had really isolated in the end. And I realized in my inpatient program how important it is to talk about our pain and our feelings, because keeping them inside is not healthy. And even though attitude of gratitude with chronic pain in the group, we foster gratitude and inspiration and motivation. Some people think that we are silencing people, and that's not what it's about at all. It's meant as an accompaniment to maybe other groups that you would belong to, maybe technically about your illness or whatever, places where you're free to talk about how bad your pain is on that day and all that. This is a place where you can come to escape that 24/7. Whenever you come on, you're going to find something, probably many things and many people that inspire you. So we are not censoring anybody. That's why we offer Flush the Format twice a week. And that's on Zoom. You can turn your camera off. You can turn your audio off if you don't want to be seen or heard. Our senior moderator who runs it, Linda Edwards, I know she doesn't mind that I talk about this, but I would say it was probably a good, I don't know, Linda, what, a year? Maybe not quite a year. She was coming to Flush the Format each week and not saying a word, not turning on her camera. She was just listening. And, we encourage that. We highly encourage that, because just by listening, you can learn a lot. There is no pressure to contribute. Same with our broadcast here. We encourage an interactive format, but you certainly don't need to. It's whatever you want it to be. Oh, here, I'll put up these. Look at these. Look at those little, they match my shirt, little hearts. Isn't that cute? So let's see what other comments we have. Who wants to talk about what? We're still talking about relationships and maintaining relationships. Karen says, that is beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? So beautiful. That's deep improvement for sure. Here's Linda. Such a beautiful poem, isn't it? I will, I'm going to make a graphic out of that and put it in the group so you guys can read it. Again, maybe write it down in your journals, your gratitude journals, because I found it, the whole book is like that, to be honest with you. It's hard to choose just one poem, but I loved that one. Sarah says, thanks for another book for me to look for in the mail. Sarah, I knew it. I knew once I held up that book. You and Julia Schmerloff are the two. When I show a book, I know you're getting the book. I've began asking the post office to hold my books at the post office since my husband had to add another shelf on my bookcase. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you won a book, didn't you? We had a contest. Which book did you win? Did you win? I'm trying to think, Sarah. Remind me if you can. Did you win Wake Up Grateful, the autographed copy? You may have. Remind me. Speaking of Wake Up Grateful, I'll hold off on the rest of the comments for a little bit. Let me get rid of my name. We don't need to see that constantly. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Christy Nelson, who is the executive director of a network for grateful living, also known as gratefulness.org. She was a guest on our show probably about a month ago, and she's another one that I've become friendly with. This book, probably out of all of the books on gratitude I have, and I know you can't see them, this is a small sampling of the books I have on gratitude. I am a gratitude addict and junkie, which is why the name of my website is gratitudeaddict.com. I find it just fascinating and powerful how gratitude has become such an important tool, the most important tool for me in my journey in living with chronic pain and illness, along with the emotional pain that comes along with chronic pain and illness. Did you guys know that through my book, I've learned this, 1 in 10 people live with some kind of a chronic condition, and 60 million people throughout the world live with chronic pain, illness, and the emotional pain, illness that comes along with it. That is a lot of people. And that's why our group is very unique. I believe we're the only group that offers, really focuses on gratitude as a tool to help us along our journeys. But anyway, Wake Up Grateful. Christy was on the show. This is the best book on gratitude that I have ever read. Her insights, and if you go back and watch the episode, if you did not watch it, I highly recommend it. Her insight and her views on gratitude are just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Christy, if you're watching, thank you. They're offering a course through a network for grateful living we just completed week 3. It's on Tuesday evenings, and it's based on Christy's book, Wake Up Grateful. Tuesday evenings, I don't think you can still sign up because, like I said, we're 3 weeks into it, but I have been learning so much. Right when I think there's nothing left to know about gratitude, I learned so much about the difference between gratitude and being grateful is sort of like the difference between being happy and being joyful. And Christy explained this on the show. I talked about the difference between happiness and joy right around January. We're calling this the year of joy in Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. I used to talk about my kind of quest for happiness, and I've realized that it's really a quest for joy. So happiness is a temporary feeling that comes about through a circumstance, comes about through something happening, a situation. It's very situational. Joy is an overall feeling that hopefully has many, many moments of happiness. So gratitude and gratefulness, if you weren't watching that show, gratitude is the same thing as happiness. Gratitude is fleeting. It is situational. I don't know if situationally is a word, but it is based on a situation, a circumstance, something that happens, is gratitude. Being grateful is like joy. It is an overall feeling. It's a mindset. It's a way of living. So that is what I now strive to do. I knew what I was striving for. It was just my wording was wrong, was incorrect. So I am striving for gratefulness, and I'm striving for joy. And this book and that course that I'm taking talks all about that. Now, I have another video that I want to show you that I believe I've shown before. I'm going to try, since Rob said that the video or the audio was working, I'm wondering if it's when I took myself off of the broadcast that we stopped being able to hear it. So I'm going to attempt to play another video. And if you guys can't hear it, if you could just put in the comments and let me know, that way I won't, I believe it's about a 5-minute video, but it's by Brother David Steindl-Rast, who founded a network for grateful living, and Christy works with him. He's a monk who is sort of the world's leading teacher on gratitude and grateful living. And he has this beautiful, beautiful love letter to life called A Grateful Day, I believe it's called. So I'm going to attempt to put this on. Let's see if we can do this here. Share screen. Hang on. So if you can just tell me right away, if you can't hear it, I will stop it and give you the link just like before. So let me attempt to do this. Let's see. I'm going to try this. Okay. Let me know if you can't hear it. Can you guys hear?
Do you think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you.
No. Oh,
today.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a gift.
Thank you, Sarah.
It's the only
Thank you,
gift
Linda.
that you have right now. respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. All that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip the switch and there is electric light. Turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water. And drinkable water. A gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
Gosh, isn't that just gorgeous? Thank you guys for letting me know that you could hear it. Like I said, I believe I've played that before. He has another one called, I think it's called A Beautiful Day. I think that's the one I played. This is similar, but I swear it should be required viewing of every human being on the planet every single day, because Brother David Steindl-Rast has such a way, as you just heard, of reminding us of the beauty in this life. And despite our pain and our struggles, we can find gratefulness and things to be grateful about and gratitude. So you can view that video again on gratefulness.org or the Facebook page for a network for grateful living. Let me put this back in. Who needs headphones? We don't need headphones tonight. I don't think we do. If you can't hear me, let me know. So who do we have here? Oh, Linda says yes. It was about a year that she didn't speak and flush the format. So, and now she runs it. So thank you, Linda. Again, you need to be a member of the group to join in, but we have amazing discussions. Sometimes we just laugh the entire hour. Sometimes they're deeper discussions. A lot of times people need a shoulder to cry on or a place to vent. And that is exactly what Flush the Format is about. Eva says, my mind has often been compared to a three-ring circus. Yeah, mine too. Oh, Karen loves my hearts. Thank you. Sarah says, yes, she did win Wake Up Grateful. And Christy was kind enough to autograph it and send it directly to Sarah. What a beautiful gift that is. It's such a beautiful book. Karen says she loves the book, Wake Up Grateful. Me too. Gosh, in that video we just saw, going back to that a little bit, when the person kisses that newborn baby on the lips and the newborn baby has an open mouth. Every time I see it, it makes my heart hurt in a good way. It reminds me of my babies and when I used to just kiss their little faces and they'd be dead asleep and their mouths were wide open. Things like that, those little moments. I believe it's John Kabat-Zinn that said, those little things, those little moments, they're not so little. And it's so, so true. We have to remember that. Facebook user, and I'm sorry your name is not showing up on my screen. If you want to let us know in the comments again who you are. Any tips for keeping friendships when I can't depend on my body to be able to keep commitments and can't go places my friends like to go? Great topic, and it goes very much in line with what Tammy Blizzard was saying. I believe I did an episode on this topic early on, but it's something that I don't think we can discuss enough. And I would love to hear from all of you what your experiences have been with maintaining friendships, whether you've lost a lot, and how you maintain and foster these relationships. As I've already mentioned, I did not, for a long time, I did not do a good job in even returning text messages to people. But I was lucky enough where I had, like I said, a core group of people who didn't give up on me. Nicole Spadafora, our dirt therapy expert, she is one of them. She did not give up on me. Tracy Berger, who is my buddy from high school, and she comes on the show. She came on the show on our friendship episode. She is one of those friends who didn't give up on me. So I'm very lucky that way. But I've lost friends along the way. It's difficult, I think, for people who don't live with chronic pain and illness to understand why perhaps we say yes to a commitment and we have every intention on keeping that commitment, but then the day comes and we're not able to make it. Either we're emotionally just not there, not able to, or physically, or both. So a lot of times, I wrote an article about this for The Mighty a couple of years ago. I think the article's called, oh gosh, it's something about being a flake, I put in quotes. Not how to be a flake, because I do that well. Something about maintaining friendships when your friends think you're a flake. You know, in the comments after the episode, I will put a link to the article because I do talk about it a lot. But it's, yeah, like I started to say, it's difficult for many people to understand why we cancel all the time, or why, you know, you look at me, and I know I'm not unique in this way. Look at me, and I look like the healthiest person in the world. But on the inside, I'm often screaming from pain. And it's hard for people to see that when you have an invisible illness. Joy Salick talked about that when she was on 2 weeks ago. The subtitle of her book is Living Well with Invisible Chronic Illness. How to relate to people, how to get them to understand when we live with invisible illness, when we look fine. They just don't understand. So I really would love to hear from all of you what your experiences are with that. Let's see. Karen said that was an awesome episode with Wake up grateful. Thank you, Karen. Oh, my dad's here. He hears it fine. Karen says the video is so beautiful. I love it. Me too, Karen. Thank you. And Linda is awesome. Absolutely. That made me cry. Me too. Little moments are giant. These little moments of grace and gratitude. We talk a lot in this broadcast and in the group about how we are actually wired as human beings to default to the negative. We're wired for it's known as the fight or flight response. It goes back apparently to our caveman days where I'm totally making this up, but let's just say a saber-toothed tiger coming at us, right? And so we have to do something, fight or flight. And so we're wired that way as humans to go to the default. And there's been many studies on this. I'm not just making that part up. So how do we take this innate inner response of defaulting to the negative and turn that into a positive? And that is part of what the most powerful part of gratitude is that the more we practice it, the more we default to it. I'm sure you guys can all relate to bad days. I have a good friend who's watching here tonight who had a bad day today. I won't put her on the spot unless she wants to. But she had an incident this morning that really just set her off on a lousy day, feeling really yucky about herself. And I bring this up only because you can have a day like that. Say you had a million good things happen during the day, but you're going to think about that one thing that happened. It's going to, I know for me, I will let it eat at me often, and I'll forget about all of those wonderful things, those little moments that we've been talking about that really compiled most of my day. By practicing gratitude through various ways, through of course, joining the group and putting in comments what you're grateful for every day, by keeping a gratitude journal. As I mentioned earlier, I'm big into keeping gratitude journals. Some people do them before bed. They'll write down 3 things that they were grateful for during the day. Some do it first thing in the morning, 3 things that we're grateful for. Each morning in the group, I put the first thing I post is what we call a daily intention. And that's it's goal setting, but not goals, because goals for people that are chronically ill, because of the ebbs and flows of our conditions, when we set goals and we cannot keep those goals, we set ourselves up for failure and resentment against ourselves. And that's not good. We don't need that. We don't need to cause us more pain. My friend, Dr. Bruce Singer, who is my mentor, and he's been on the show many times. He runs a great Facebook group called Black Duck Moments for Recovery. And he has an awesome book on daily affirmations, living with chronic pain and illness, called Black Duck Moments Every Day. But anyway, I bring him up because he often says, don't make it worse, meaning don't make your pain worse. We don't need to add to our pain by, adding to our emotional pain. Easier said than done, I realize. But there are things we can do, like practicing gratitude. The more we practice gratitude, the easier it becomes, the more we can actually rewire our brain. And I'm not making that up. That's well studied and documented. We can rewire our brain to default to the positive. And that makes our pain better. It makes our emotional pain better. There are not a lot of things we can do to make our physical pain better. Certain things that we can add, to our comfort level and all that. Of course, we take medications, we follow our doctor's orders, possibly, or, we've come to realize what's in our comfort zone physically. But I say this just about every episode. I've never once had a doctor, one of my specialists for my illness, I've never had one of those doctors tell me that I really should join a support group or talk to somebody with the emotional pain. And often, and many of you guys I'm sure can relate, and I'd love to hear this from you also, the emotional pain can be more debilitating than the physical pain. when I was in my alcoholic stupor in that year, thank God it only lasted a year, but even so, it was a serious, serious alcohol problem, clearly, from the rock bottom that I shared with you. But I didn't talk to anybody, like I mentioned, but why don't I just bring that up? There was a reason, other than not talking to anybody. I do not know. I'm not even in a brain fog right now, but I'm not sure. I will think of it. But communication is key, being connected with others, which is one of the reasons why I formed the group. That connection that we have with others who understand what we live with is so, so important, and has been a real game changer for me in living with my chronic illness. So let's see, we've got some more comments here. Oh, we've got Linda Canalicchio. Hi, Linda. Lost friends and family I love so deeply because I couldn't make it. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That can be so, so painful. Don't you guys think? Losing those friends, because we know it's not our fault. It's not our fault. And hopefully, you guys all know that. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes we put blame on ourselves, thinking that it is our fault because we have to cancel and we can't make it. But it's not. It's self-preservation. It's self-compassion. It's self-care. We need to listen to our bodies, and we need to listen to our intuition and go by that. That being said, sometimes we get kind of stuck in our comfort zones, and it's good to get out of it, maybe baby steps to get out of it, and push ourselves, not hard and not physically, but push our emotional selves outside of our comfort zones to see what we can do. And often we can find surprising things that we can do by just getting a little bit outside of our comfort zones. So thank you, Linda. I think I remember what I was going to talk about. I was talking about our daily intentions that we set. So rather than setting goals in the group, we set daily intentions because we're well aware that our conditions can change, on a dime. So we can intend to do something in the morning, and we set those in the group. We comment each morning on what we intend to do on that day. But by using that term intention, it gives us kind of a backup plan, so to speak. It gives us a roadmap for our day, which I think is super important, rather than just kind of winging it all the time. We have this written in pencil, a roadmap written in pencil to help us get through the day. And if we aren't able to do some of the things, if we aren't able to do all of the things, it's okay that it was only an intention. So I can't believe we're almost at the hour. Let me get to some of you guys. Heidi, I woke up this morning thinking about something bad that happened last night. It wasn't pleasant first thing this morning, I'm sure. I have no doubt. I'm sorry, Heidi. Hopefully you worked on your gratitude practice today, and I hope that it helped your day get a little bit better. I'm glad that you're here tonight. I'm hoping that this broadcast helps people. It offers another tool for anybody who still suffers, struggles, who wants to thrive rather than just survive. Thanks for sharing that with us, Heidi. Heather Gray says, my default has been a negative mindset for as long as I can remember as a PTSD survival technique. Severe childhood abuse in all forms before my several adult chronic illnesses set in. I'm in my 40s now, and I fear I won't be able to change my brain chemistry after all this time. Old dog. I do well with my gratitude for several days, but my really bad days tend to derail me easier than I'd like to admit. Then I beat myself up. I'm sure we all know the cycle. I do have a therapist, and it looks like there's more coming. Heather, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We talk a lot about PTSD in the group, and I mentioned earlier in the episode, if you weren't here, Dr. Howard Schubiner, who was a guest on our show a couple months ago. He's featured in the film that we screened in the group, This Might Hurt. And he talks about some chronic conditions really not being caused by childhood trauma, but being helped by tackling that trauma. And he offers techniques. He actually offers workshops, and he has a workbook to help us to deal with PTSD and our past traumas. He doesn't claim that his technique helps all chronic pain conditions at all, but with some, he mentions fibromyalgia specifically, some back pain. If you are in the group, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, and you go into our files at the top, you'll see I think it says more at the top. And then if you go down to files, he kindly gave any of our members the first 5 chapters of his workbook for free. So if you're a member, I highly encourage you to go there if you want to work on your past traumas. It's super interesting. The film, I believe if you go to thismighthurt.com, you will see future screenings of the show if you weren't able to view it in our group. They kindly gave us a free screening of it, which was amazing. But they do screenings all over the place and all the time. So if you want to catch a screening and you didn't see it, I highly encourage you to. So Heather, thank you for sharing that with us. So many of us deal with past traumas. I didn't even know I was dealing with past trauma until I started really looking at what trauma is. And, you know, based on my rock bottom, I mean, just that and what was leading up to it, that's trauma. And I never really thought of it that way until sort of recently. So I've been dealing with that through Dr. Schubner's help. And I feel like verbalizing that, and we do that in Flush the Format as well, it's really helping me. We're past 9. Let me get more comments, and then we're going to have to close out. Margaret Morris. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for being here. It is such a positive to know there are those who fully understand, even when we don't share anything but the gratitude. Great, Margaret. Thank you for sharing that. I agree. I totally agree. And Heather, thank you. I will take a look. Yes, please go to the top of the group. I believe it's under more. Click on more, go down to files. I think it's the very first files. I believe it's a PDF file, but it could be a Word document. I forget. I don't know how many chapters are in the book, but again, the first 5 are free. And if you like it and you think it's something that you like, you can order it for sure. So anyway, we are past the hour. Thank you guys for this open discussion of dealing with relationships, friendships that we've lost. I hope that we talked about anything you guys wanted to talk about. I am going to close out by trying to offer you again that video from Oprah Winfrey on mental health. Now that I think I've figured it out, I want to do that because it's important and because it airs tomorrow night. So if you guys can just let me know, I'm going to play it. It's 2 minutes long. I'm going to try replaying it. If you don't see it, if somebody could just let me know, I will stop it. But I'm hoping that the video or the audio will work this time. So again, thank you. Watch next week. I will have Dawn Hale, who is a positive psychology life coach, and she is going to be talking about 5 active techniques to live a happier life. It's going to be great. She's got such great techniques. So thank you, Sarah. Awesome episode as usual. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. So here's a video. Thank you all so much for being here. Peace and love. And here is hopefully the video. I love all you guys. Thank you for contributing. And for those who are watching on replay, thank you for watching. I love all of our audience, and we're getting such great feedback on the show. So here we hopefully go. Share screen, Chrome tab, Facebook. Let's try this again. Can we do this?
I just frozen.
Oops, hang on. Let me start over. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, here we go.
All over the world, people are in some kind of
Let me know if you can't hear it.
psychological, emotional pain.
What words have you heard around mental health? Crazy, lost it, can't keep it together.
With that stigma of being labeled the other, the telling of the story, being able to say, this is what happened to me, is crucial.
See, I write stories, I write them on my own.
Only I can read them, but the doctor calls it self-harm. So can somebody tell me it's okay not to be okay, and do not tell me quietly, because mental health matters, and that's the reality.
Just sitting down and listening to somebody,
There's joy in that. I can put a smile on, but inside feel completely broken.
I don't tell this story from my own self-service. I've been through it and people need help.
It's just something I accepted.
To make that decision to receive help is not a sign of weakness. In today's world, more than ever, it is a sign of strength.
People that acknowledge their mental health struggles, they're really like superheroes.
I just frozen. In front of us is a human being who's suffering. Treating people with dignity is the first act. I think it's our natural state to be connected.
Fauzi and his friends are heroes. I really, truly believe that they are heroes. The results of this year will be felt for decades. For kids, families, husbands, wives, for everybody.
we're gonna hurt. We're gonna hurt together.